Hi there. Dogecoin is still going through the paper hands, diamond hands test checkout period. So let's take a look and see using the Wyckoff method and see where its price is going. If you're new to my sessions, this is the items that I'll cover during the session. Let's start with the weekly chart of Dogecoin. I shared previously that the bulls was setting the trading range top for the accumulation cycle over the past 2 weeks. Alright, that's a typical behavior after the panic over stage. People aren't selling crazily anymore, and the bull starts to gather some strength, just enough to set the trading range top for the accumulation cycle. You can consider the accumulation cycle a range of tests, alright, a range of tests of demand and supply. If more people are willing to sell, the supply is stronger, and while the demand is low, when people are still panicking, or if you look at the greed and fear index, if people are still fear, obviously the price would come down. All right, that's as simple as that. If you want to understand what the accumulation cycle basically is, and while that happens, the whales will get in, scooping up the whatever coin it is that the paper hands are willing to sell. And then when the time comes, when the narrative is right, they will start to pump out some news and then push the price to a level where they can distribute to the other people. Alright, that's the big picture. It hasn't changed. So more tests to come. Alright, the price would bounce around at least the orange key level of 0.1112 to the light blue key level of 0.149. Alright, sometimes they can get slightly higher like what they did during the setting stage of the automatic rally, or it can go lower than the orange key level. October 10th indicated that even the red key level can be tested. That's 0.0964. And in the 2002-2003 cycle, all the way into 2024, the price went lower than the red key level. Okay, that's the big picture. Now we get to the daily chart and look at the more micro view. We talked about the potential trend change confirmation that would come in, and indeed it came in on the exact date where this intermediate support crosses the ceiling of the downtrend. Alright, you see the volume over there. And then the past 7 days, the volume declined, even though it's red, meaning the paper hands, there aren't much paper hands, let's put it this way. That's what tells us last week. Now that the bulls are coming back again, look at today's volume. It's higher than the past 10 days. That's a good sign with a white candle and without a long wick from the top. That's the positive thing that we want to see. This one with a longer wick, that means the bears are hammering the price, trying to push it back to the light blue key level of 0.1490. They succeeded early this week or late last week. Alright, and then now beginning of the week, the bears are resting and the bulls are coming back. One more interesting point is that if I extend this line, you can immediately see the previous support is having effect on the current trading activities. Alright, the bulls successfully defended this line. The bears tried to hammer it hard, going back to the lower level, maybe challenging the yellow key level support of 0.1245. But, currently the bears have the upper hand. So let's hope the bulls have the upper hand. Let's hope the bulls are able to keep the price above the green key level of 0.1406 and then once again challenge to stay above the light blue key level of 0.1490, like what they did on the 5th and the 6th. Alright, at least from the 4th to the 6th, those 3 days, the price successfully closed above the blue. So going back to the big picture, what does that mean? That means it's once again challenging the trading range top set by the automatic rally just 2 weeks back. It may still be early, but while we are here, I just want to share with you, rather than just talking about these tests going back to the lower levels, the positive side of it is that we want to see something called a sign of strength. What does it mean? It means the price climb to challenge the trading range top. Alright, and then not only that, combining with taller volume bar. Alright, something even higher than what we had 2 weeks ago back in the very last week of December. That's what we want to see. That's the very first step towards the next distribution cycle. Alright, it may not be immediate to the next distribution. It may still come down and may even have a mega shakeout that goes lower than the selling climax. But this is a stage within the accumulation cycle that we would hope to see after the automatic rally. It's a process. Like, you have to go through your doors in order to get outside of your room, and then your house door in order to go outside, right? It's the same thing. So that's the picture for Doge. If you are interested to get access to these sessions 2 days earlier than the others, feel free to join the channel membership. I've put the link in the description for you.